Good evening. Last week we brought you the 110th FA Cup final. Tonight we bring you the final match for the very first England Challenge Cup. England v Argentina at Wembley, the first meeting between the two countries since the 1986 World Cup.
Maradona just walked away from Huddle then. Valdano, Motson, Maradona! He has Burruchaga to his left and Valdano to his left. He won't need any of them. Oh, you have to say that's magnificent.
But Maradona no longer part of the Argentinian team. And our own superstar, of course, out of action for the foreseeable future. Today, Argentina had only two players left from last year's World Cup. One of them, Ruggeri, scored against the Soviet Union on Thursday. That ended in a 1-1 draw. England had earlier beaten the Soviets, with David Platt highly influential in that victory. Today at Wembley, unusually, it was the band that seemed to have a mascot on parade. Well, Jimmy's with us for an end-of-term England report, although, of course, there's still the tour down under to come. So, England v Argentina, Trevor Brooking with John Motson.
David Batty wasn't even born when Nobby Stiles got to grips with Argentina here at Wembley in 1966. But the 22-year-old from Leeds United gets a chance to show similar ball-winning qualities as he figures in England's starting lineup for the first time. Graham Taylor makes 6 changes from Tuesday's team. Back come the Arsenal pair, David Seaman and Lee Dixon, although like Alan Smith and John Barnes, they won't be going on tour on Monday. And back come the Forest pair, Stuart Pearce and Des Walker, who will be going. So will Gary Lineker, who returns up front and also resumes the captaincy. The Argentine selection includes only 2 survivors from the World Cup, goalkeeper Goycochea and the number 6 and captain Ruggeri, who scored in the 1-1 draw with the Soviets at Old Trafford on Thursday. There are 3 changes from that side, with the number 10 Martellotto making his debut today. Not a bad start to your international career. First game at Wembley, wearing Maradona's shirt. Referee Petrovic of Yugoslavia, the man who was in charge when England played Holland in the World Cup, and ruled out that last-minute shot by Stuart Pearce because the free kick was indirect. Argentina in stripes, playing at Wembley, where they've never won. Indeed, the two countries haven't met since the World Cup of 1986 in Mexico, where Argentina did win, thanks partly to the hand of God goal. Foul by Gamboa on Barnes. Stuart Pearce to take the free kick, waiting for Mark Wright to make his way up to join Alan Smith there. That was Wright's header. Trevor Brooking with me. I think Gary Lineker's looking, Trevor, for a few more goals to get nearer that England scoring record.
I'm sure he is, although he won't find it easy to get the space to get shots on goal with this Argentinian defence, and they tend to load up the midfield.
Batty's certainly seeing plenty of the ball in this first few minutes, which will be no doubt good for his confidence. Here's Jeff Thomas. Graham Taylor making the point that Batty is a good continuity player. He gets a lot of little passes in as the play moves forward from the midfield. Pearce. Lineker. It's going to be a corner to England. It was the central defender there with the moustache, Vasquez, wearing number 2. He felt he was fouled by Lineker, but the referee said corner. And Batty will now take that from the left-hand side. Given that responsibility to swing the ball in, he's got Barnes and Mark Wright in near-post positions, but he hasn't found them. It was away by Boldrini. Here's Lineker. Barnes. Thomas in there. Corner again.
Super little drag back by John Barnes just to give him a yard of space in order to curl across. Just shows you don't have to beat players, just give yourself an opening to get the cross in.
Handball. England just need a draw here today to carry off this Challenge Cup in the three-cornered competition, having defeated the Soviet Union and the two other teams having drawn on Thursday. That was Gamboa for Argentina, who therefore have to win. This is Garcia, offside. Number 10 there, Martelotto, making the run for Garcia. This is Dixon. Smith. So England forcing the issue in this opening 10 minutes. This is Wright. Free kick goes to England. Alan Smith tussling with Ruggieri. One of those that the referee could have perhaps seen either way, but he's given it in Smith's favour.
And in a position where a left-footed shot from John Barnes would be favoured rather than the right-footer. This side of the penalty area, you always would fancy John Barnes or Stuart Pearce with his left foot to hit the shot.
Well, they're both standing close to the ball and summing up the angle. Pearce successful here last week against Tottenham, of course. But no attackers in the wall this time to push anybody out of the way. Pearce.
Didn't quite catch the shot, Stuart Pearce, because in all honesty it was an awful wall. You see the gap between the wall and they've jumped, and it kept it on the floor. And just fortunately for Gorkachi, it happened to go straight to him, because could easily have gone in the near post. A bad wall by the Argentinians.
Number 11, Baldrini for Argentina. That wasn't a bad effort, because he'd noticed that Seaman, just for a second or two, had advanced. Lineker. Pearce. That's Smith, and here comes David Platt from midfield. Smith again, and Dixon made a good run from the right, and a good effort by the Arsenal fullback.
It was a good build-up, best move so far, and it was Dixon's run that was the end product, because without him getting forward like that, there was no way out down that side. There it is, knocked back. Alan Smith plays Lee Dixon, always looks for him playing together at club level, and he just pulled his shot across the face of the goal. That wasn't a cross, that was a shot.
Forward there by Enrique. Des Walker across. This is Baldrini, and it was his foul. Simeone, the only player really in the Argentine party here who's playing with a top European club at present. He's with Pisa in Italy, although in fact I say top club, they've been relegated. Pearce takes the free kick. Oh, Lineker was left alone and scored. They never marked it, and the England captain puts his side ahead with his 40th international goal. Stuart Pearce drives the free kick. It goes deep beyond Smith and his marker, and Lineker has got away from Ruggieri, and it's 1-0 to England.
Well, it's a long kick, and Ruggieri is assuming Goycochea is coming for the ball. You have to blame the goalkeeper. Great instinctive poaching by Gary Lineker to pick up that loose ball, but it's a goalkeeping fault, there's no doubt. 6-yard box header should have been collected by the goalkeeper. I mean, the free kick was taken from the halfway line. It travelled a long way. There was plenty of time for him to come off his line.
Here's Garcia for Argentina, and a good interception by Mark Wright. And Lineker with Barnes going down the right, but he was covered. This is Franco, number 8. Good challenge by Jeff Thomas, and Alan Smith again, a lovely pass across to Platt. David Platt, who scored twice against the Soviets. Bit of a bobbler, that one.
Good to see David Platt getting into those situations, because he is such a good finisher from the edge of the penalty area, and to have a midfield player who's scoring so regularly is a terrific boost for the national team.
Garcia. Enrique in space, the left back. Good touch by Batty, then Lineker, then Smith, now Pearce. England moving well. There's some space on this side, and Smith has seen it now. He's in the gap. Pearce goes on. Shot blocked by Gamboa. And as it breaks out, Argentina have a man over, but Des Walker and David Seaman between them, sorting that out. Argentina, like England, changed their coach after the World Cup, and Alpio Basile took over from Carlos Bilardo, and he, like Graham Taylor, is unbeaten so far in his time in charge. You may have read that Caniggia was going to play today. In fact, he isn't even with the party over here in England. He's at the moment conducting a transfer between 2 Italian clubs, so the fair-haired striker from the World Cup was never in contention for this game. And of course, most of the other World Cup players are either playing in Europe or they've finished their international careers. In the case of Maradona, that's certainly the case. Suspended worldwide for his involvement in drugs. Here's Smith. Ball in by Barnes, offside, flags up. That I don't think would have mattered. Lineker, who was Graham Taylor probably realising that that wouldn't have been a goal. Lineker, who last week in the cup final put one in the net and found the flag was up for offside. Well, had he put that one in, the same thing would have resulted. A header by Wright came back to Baldrini, who hit it early, winning his 4th cap. Plays for the Newell's Old Boys Club at Rosario, one of the venues for the World Cup back in 1978. Now, Jeff Thomas's was the tackle, and then the retaliation was by Simeone. It was a foul, but player on the ground certainly kicked back. Fairly low-key half this, 5 minutes to the interval. England deserved to be a goal up. If their crossing had been a little bit better, it might have been more than one. That's a forward ball by Gamboa, off Pearce's head. Garcia. David Platt defending his own penalty area. Gamboa to Franco. Simeone. And John Barnes. Basualdo is the defender in front of him. He's come inside him. Good effort by Barnes, touched away. Corner.
Magnificent shot by John Barnes and a wonderful save. Credit to Goicoechea. Comes in on the inside of his right foot and curls it deliberately towards the top corner, and at full stretch, great save.
So Goicoechea perhaps redeeming himself slightly for being flat-footed on the goal. And now it's a corner for which Barnes and Wright take up their near post positions. Well, goalkeeper steps again here. Just walking around with it. Foul, was it? Well, play on anyway. England have the ball. It's Barnes. It can go left to Jeff Thomas. And Basualdo cuts it out. Smith retrieves it. Barnes, oh, that's a classic piece of South American obstruction by Vasquez, just stood in the way. And it's a pity because John Barnes was threatening to go straight for goal there.
Well, Smith leaves it for John Barnes as he goes to flick it outside. A blatant body check, and he probably got his bony knee into his thigh or even on his own kneecap.
So Barnes back on his feet, the free kick just about on the corner of the area. Pearce has placed the ball and England have 6 men in there. A lot of pushing and shoving going on in the centre. It was meant for Batty, but well, he found it in the end. And Argentina breaking away at the end of the first half. Garcia, oh, he's through! And what a mess he made of it. What a chance. Virtually the first one they've had. But it was clear-cut for Claudio Garcia. England's defence caught. Pearce was getting back. Walker it was who fell over and left the way clear. And Garcia rolled that horribly wide.
There's a catalogue of errors, wasn't it? Starting from England's free kick, where they actually gave possession to Argentina. Argentina broke and then opened up the opportunity, and Garcia had a wonderful opportunity. I mean, the only chance they've had in this first 45 minutes, but an awful finish that never even brought a save from David Seaman.
So half-time arrives with Graham Taylor's England in the lead and things going pretty much according to plan. Gary Lineker's goal after a quarter of an hour, certainly the least England deserved. Stuart Pearce drove the free kick long. Goicoechea didn't come when his defenders thought he should and would. He went backwards, in fact, and Lineker scored his 40th goal for his country, and that just means now that 2 other men ahead of him in the 40s. Bobby Charlton, the all-time record holder, 49. Jimmy Greaves, 44. But Gary Lineker, with a tour coming up to Australia and New Zealand, has now got the scoring record in his sights. Joining today's proceedings in the middle of the Royal Electrical and Mechanical Engineers staff band is 6-year-old John Ruin, whose presence there is down to Jimmy Savile, who wanted to play at Wembley in the band as part of the Jim will Fix It programme, and he's achieved his ambition. This match by far the best attended of the 3 in this triangular tournament. The official Wembley crowd figure this afternoon, 44,497. Smith. He's right. Dixon. And there goes Baldrini. Not a bad cross that, and Seaman's lost it for a moment, and Garcia couldn't hook it back. It was just a split second there where it was quite dangerous, Trevor.
Good early cross by Baldrini. Needed somebody with a little bit more height than little Garcia. Tried to hook it back across, hit his own chest and went out of play. But again, Garcia was the only man up front, and they need to get more numbers forward.
Of course, the last team to win at Wembley against England were a South American nation. Uruguay had a victory here just before the World Cup finals. Here's number 10, Martelotto. Away by Pearce. Touched by Smith. David Platt following up. And Smith looked to his left and had to check and said he could see Pearce. Platt. Barnes.
Good build up, good unselfish layup by David Platt. See Stuart Pearce knocked it in. Platt in a good forward position. John Barnes coming on to it, hit it with his right foot. Didn't quite catch it, bit of a bobbler, and Gokachia away had it covered.
There's Jeff Thomas. Garcia. Walker. Platt with Dixon outside him. Lineker's on that side as well. Batty. Thomas. Pearce. Oh, and David Platt came in there in front of the defender and scored a quite superb goal. Well, what a growing talent at international level this player is. That was an absolutely super appreciation of the game. Stuart Pearce was down the left-hand side, the ball floated in, but look where Platt came from, right across Lineker, right across the defender, and a lovely finish, clipped in for one of the best international goals I would think England have scored this season. It's the build-up from Stuart Pearce, Trevor, and David Platt just stretched and got it, didn't he? Here's Pearce, who made that goal for Platt. And this time he's found Batty, and Pearce has gone for the return. Oh, what a pity it didn't go in. Terrific play by the England left back in the build-up and very nearly in the execution. He gave the first ball, Pearce, there. Batty saw him going for the return. He's beaten the offside, rolled it past the keeper, and agonisingly, as Lineker came in, also past the post. Enrique to Simeone. Martelotto. And good backing for England in the sunshine here at Wembley from this 45,000 crowd. Batty. Just span off the Argentine player. This is Gamboa. Dixon. That was a rather reckless challenge. It was late, the foot. And I think the Yugoslav referee is, for the first time here, having to handle a protest.
And as you can see, the ball running away from him, and as the ball is cleared, he no need to follow through. He has a habit of turning his shoulder and going in a little bit late like that.
Gamboa. Again. That's It's a free kick. Well, there were two fouls. The first one was on David Platt, the second one on Gary Lineker. Well, the referee has penalised the first one, quite rightly, and Argentina want to make a substitution. Wearing the number 10 shirt is obviously going to be onerous for anybody that follows, and Martelotto is being replaced. Another one of the Ponydale Brigade, number 17, Antonio Mohamed, who scored against Uruguay in the first match after the World Cup. He's on the pitch as Argentina defend this free kick. Goycochea comes for it. Mohamed, who's just come on, is 21 years of age and gets into the match straight away. An hour gone as Pearce finds Lineker, and Pearce continues his run again. Forces a corner. This is Batty, Barnes, Lineker. And Pearce stayed off the pitch there, because had he come back on, he would have been offside. But the Nottingham Forest contingent, 5 of them in all, are going on the tour on Monday. And as England have the throw, it might even be the moment for Graham Taylor to make a change. Here's Jeff Thomas. That'll be retrieved by David Platt. Dixon.
Well, I think they've played very well up to now. John Barnes there, I think, if you remember, just got a knock before half-time. Nigel Clough could have a welcome opportunity just to see if he can have an influence. Nice time to come on with the side 2-0 up and playing well.
It's Des Walker with the header, and then Smith. Now Thomas. And it's Pearce. Having a good second half, the Nottingham Forest captain. Now the tackles are beginning to test the referee's patience a little. Argentinians putting in their feet when the ball is gone. So as the crowd pick up the England chant, it's Pearce to take the free kick. Here's Clough, here's Lineker, and that's Platt. "20 minutes gone in the second half at Wembley. It's England 2, Argentina 0. A result which would ensure England get their hands on this Challenge Cup. Gamboa. That's played on by Mohamed, and there he is again. And it's a corner now to Argentina.
Another poor cross. The one feature of the game is the quality of the crossing hasn't been good.
Corner to Argentina. Oh, and the number 7 scored. Garcia. It was such an easy goal, really. The near post corner, and England not defending that terribly well.
That's what happens when you get a quality cross. Good pace, unmarked. Garcia, the smallest player in the Argentinian side, and whoever was picking him up will be a little bit disappointed with that free header.
It was a free header, and Argentina are back in it at 2-1. Overseas footballers take a great pride in playing at Wembley. Indeed, to score at Wembley is always regarded as a feather in the cap of any overseas player. I was just trying to think when Garcia put that one in, but here's Basualdo in the meantime about the last goal they scored here, and I would imagine you'd need to go back to the Passarella penalty when England won here in a friendly, and before that maybe Mario Kempes. Anyway, it's a free kick now to the South Americans, and it's in by Mohamed, and England find themselves now not quite as much in control as they were a few minutes ago. Two-1 now. Batty, Clough, Dixon, Lineker, Batty again. Dixon well forward here, but losing out and it's Mohamed for Argentina. Since the number 17 came on, they've played with a bit more verve. Foul. Pearce on Franco. Well, there are 20 minutes to go. And here's Nigel Clough. Spreads it wide. Very effective too to put Lee Dixon in space. This is Lineker. Platt running strongly on this side. Jeff Thomas.
Just lost the momentum a bit, England. A bit of complacency, then conceded the goal, and it's given Argentina, you know, just a little half a yard in their play, and England just lost their rhythm.
Baldrini chasing this with Walker. They'll have to make sure the marking's rather better this time. It's Mohamed to take the corner. Ruggieri and Vasquez have come up on the far side, the two central defenders. Oh, and it's there, the equaliser. Franco. Well, 2 goals from corners. And Argentina come from 2-0 down to turn the match right round. And it's greeted with almost silence inside Wembley, except that the Argentine players are thrilled to bits. Mohamed delivers the corner right-footed. It swings out a bit. Franco gets up well, a good 10-12 yards out, and in the top of the net, with Seaman standing in the middle and Pearce unable to reach it. Number 8's header, and over Pearce's head, I think. In fact, that's the 5th match out of 6 that Franco has scored in under the new manager. He's had a terrific record since he came into the side, and now that trip on the far side has caused the Argentines to surround the referee again, Mark Wright. Now we have one of those moments of South American irritation which tests every referee. Well, almost a mini reminder of Ratin in 1966 here, as the captain goes to gesticulate and to complain. What happened here was that with England still recovering from the goal, Mark Wright took the number 7, quite unforgivably in my opinion, to bag foul that, and if it had been done on an England player by a South American, we'd all be squealing. So it's 2-2 now in this international, and Argentina, who looked so toothless in the first half, have scored twice in 6 minutes to come back from 2-0 down. Both goals, almost a carbon copy, the second one, both goals from corners, and both virtually unchallenged headers. Smith's taken a nasty whack there from Simeone, I think. Sometimes you think referees can't win. In the World Cup they were accused of showing too many cards. And then in a match like this, where we've seen 1 or 2 highly questionable challenges, I mean, that, by the number 6 Ruggieri, is quite cynical.
No, that was a combined effort, wasn't it? Ruggieri, the 6. I think it was Simeone, the 9, who probably got the one that hurt Smith on the ankle. But, I mean, it was obvious Alan Smith's just going to lay it off. There was no need for him to follow through like that.
Jeff Thomas striking one with his left foot. Well, there's 10 minutes left here at Wembley. There's no question of any extra time today, so Batty and Vasquez. And the referee clearly thinks Vasquez is acting.
I think it's one of those 6 to 1 and half a dozen than the other. They both had a little interchange. As you see, that this was always going to end in a little tumble as they all go into a little crowd. The ball is forgotten about, and as they land, there's a little scuffle between the two, and I think Vasquez in the end decided, I think I'll lay down and try and get David Batty into trouble. But I think that was 6 to 1, half a dozen the other.
Lineker just going one way, then the other. Mark Wright comes in, but he was blocked. We have a somewhat unwelcome intruder onto the pitch, not wearing very much apart from a Union Jack. And the Wembley security staff persuading that particular person to leave. The referee still continuing his monologue with the Argentine players. Now, it's a question of where he restarts the game here, I think, Trevor. I think he's suggesting he's going to drop the ball right on the edge of their penalty area, which has not gone down very well.
There's no way they should be disputing a decision like this, though. It's very, very unsightly, isn't it?
This is what happened in the World Cup final, when I said at the time that I think when it gets to the pushing and shoving of the referee, somebody has to step in and say that can't be allowed.
I think it was a good gesture by Gary Lineker there, because you know, the drop ball was in a dangerous situation, and sportingly Gary Lineker's just let them get possession because it was a dangerous situation, which wasn't through their own shortcomings, the fact that somebody came onto the field of play.
Yes, I think we should just emphasise there that there was an intruder, a streaker if you want to call the person by that name, who the official had to wait to be escorted off before he could restart the game. Batty. Last minute now here at Wembley. David Batty, who's had an energetic 90 minutes, his first for England. Oh, that's bad. That's Garcia on Dixon. Now the referee decides to bring out the card in the 90th minute. My own view is that there were 2 tackles that should have had a card before this, but maybe it's a case of bolting the door. But Garcia has got no complaint, surely. Forward by Batty to Clough. The referee let them go on for most of the match without taking any action, and now at the end it's just got a bit too much for him, and he'll be quite glad to blow the final whistle, I would think. Well, it's never dull when a South American team comes to Wembley, and this match has certainly had its moments one way or another. England led by 2-0 and Argentina came back to draw 2-2, which means that England win the Challenge Cup by virtue of collecting 3 points from the 2 games, and it means that England are still unbeaten under Graham Taylor and that Argentina are still unbeaten under Alfio Basile. Honours even, as Gary Lineker makes his peace, or the Argentines make their peace with him, and Lineker was a good ambassador there in a fairly stormy last 15 minutes. But the Argentines will see that as a moral achievement to come back from 2-0 down. David Platt scored England's second. Really, it should have been a springboard after Lineker's first goal for England to have gone on and won. But the 2 players, Garcia and Franco, with the long hair, who headed the goals from corners, made sure in the end that Argentina came away from Wembley with something to show for their efforts. England now go on tour and have plenty to reflect on here. Final score of England 2, Argentina 2.
Gary, your first trophy that you've actually held up?
I think so, yes. Certainly for England. I've held them up before, but after the captain's done so. But it's nice to win. It's just a little bit disappointing that we let a 2-goal lead slip. down to something that we're always so good at, which is defending set pieces.
I mean, it's our first, or my first period time as a manager, managing against South American opposition. Interesting, but I was very, very pleased with the team's performance today, even though we threw the win away, but very pleasing.
I suppose the message is beware corners.
Well, I mean, the surprising thing is that any team, when they have a free kick or a corner, it's a goal-scoring potential for them. But it's most unusual for an England team to concede goals from corners to continental opposition, and to concede 2 in 6 minutes. I mean, the players and myself are very disappointed because, to a degree, we've thrown away some of the very good work that we did to get into a 2-0 lead. But if we look at the thing in the whole context, it was very, very good performance, and we have the trophy that we were playing for between the Soviet Union, Argentina and ourselves. We've won it, and that's important.
Plenty of passes strung together to please to answer the critics.
Well, I think, yeah, I'm not too concerned about that. I thought the second goal, for instance, that really typifies the kind of football that I believe in, and also the kind of football that I'm sure people like to see. It's crisp, it's incisive, it's played into parts of the field whereby you're going to hurt the opposition, and the finish is there. It's all done, in the blink of an eyelid, and yet the high quality there and the speed of it was first class. Now that's what we're looking for, and we saw flashes of it today.
They were strange goals to concede by England today, weren't they? Yeah. Unusual type of goals.
Uncharacteristic. Not often an England team's beaten in the penalty area with 2 headers. Just lapses, end of season. Instead of going to meet the ball, thinking there's going to be great danger, just a moment's concentration is lost, and the ball ends up in the net. I mean, it was high skill. That second one particularly, from that distance out to pick out the top corner of the goal, so it went over Pearce's head as well and gave Seaman no chance. Give credit. Those don't go in against you, thank goodness, more than once in a while.
It all got a bit bad-tempered, and England weren't entirely blameless for that, I felt.
Not really, although it did illustrate again, I think, and there's no need for us to tell the viewers that the Argentines do have a different attitude to the physical side. I say moral, that's a bit high-handed, but I mean they do have an attitude, a different attitude to physical contact in the game. And for the second week running, we've seen what can happen if a referee tries to be too kind. Mr. Petrovic, thought he was refereeing a benefit game of some kind, a testimonial, and you can't allow players to feel that they can get away with tackles that they know they shouldn't do. If you do that, you're storing up trouble for yourself later in the game. I mean, when we started to mix it just a little bit with them, they're better at it than we are. I mean, you saw, they don't wait for the
1, don't they?
They don't wait for the referee, to come to their aid. They say, well, if it's going to be a physical game, let's have a go. And we all saw that happen. Great pity, because there's a lot of skill there too.
Yeah. Graham Taylor's obviously quite happy. He has a right to be, doesn't he? An unbeaten run as England manager. How do you see the England position? Do you see it as healthy still?
He's gradually working himself into a situation with his team, solving a problem, making his mind up almost every time an England team plays. I mean, if you want to look at newspaper headlines that it's either brilliant or it's hopeless, well, you'll never understand what he's trying to do. But you can see that he's now refined the goalkeeping situation. David Seaman's had a game or two and looks like the #1, but Chris Wood's a very good #2.
Is he clearly the #1 Seaman for you?
I would think so. I mean, I can't guess what's in Graham Taylor's mind, but that would be in my mind. But they're 2 very good goalkeepers, but Seaman is something special, and he's got over his mistake, hopefully.
And what about the back 4? I mean, the Nottingham Forest pair are outstanding, aren't they?
Superb.
The 1 or 2 lapses today, though.
Yes. Mark Wright sometimes just lets his temperament stop a perfect performance, and I think he did today. Once England conceded the second goal, he went in and gave that silly foul away. But fortunately, even if you leave out Adams, there's Pallister, who's done so well with Manchester United, gaining confidence all the while, playing in a European final. So we're doing all right there.
What about the middle of the field now? There was lots of bite around today, but sometimes do you feel lacking in a little guile, or?
Well, there was a player missing today. I can't think of his name for the moment, but but it's obvious that...
We say good evening to him if he's watching.
Good evening, yes, I hope he's watching.
Yeah.
What was that? Sorry. No, quite honestly, you can see that Graham Taylor likes players in the middle of the field, who I like as well, who can get in all 3 areas of the field. That's it, defending their own penalty area, in the middle of the field, very busy. athletic players, and also able, like Platt does particularly, to get up and finish moves. And that's Thomas. Is aggressive and he can cover area, and complementing that is the one odd man out, Barnes in his free role, who is different. He does unexpected things, and I think that's about the right balance.
Do you see Smith and Lineker as a likely partnership for the future? Or are they a bit too similar, do you think, in their styles?
No, I think Smith is underrated. I mean, we were talking about it this afternoon, really. If you watch him carefully, he does a lot of smooth linking up with balls from the defence to give players the chance to start attacking moves from then on. What was obvious in the other match, really, was that Wright and Smith looked as if they were total strangers. I mean, strikers hunt in pairs most successfully. And Lineker and Smith seem to be building up an understanding, or when Beardsley's popped on, with Ida, they're both passing players. I mean, that's worked out quite well. So, yeah, not bad without
let's do
dramatics.
what the newspapers do. Let's give marks out of 10 for Graham Taylor. How many marks do you think he's got so far in his reign?
Well, we want to see our internationals, don't we?
We need the tickets.
10 out of 10, I'd say, without any doubt at all. And I mean, that's not favouring me, of course.
Well, the England squad leave for Australia on Monday. They play there, then twice in New Zealand and once in Malaysia. Coverage of those games on.
Players who were suspended